It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Sproles, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press on a Monday. Thanks for joining us, tuning in. Last day of the month for July. August right around the corner, and that means fall football camp. It means Major League Baseball playoff push or falling out. It's kind of a decision time right now as the trade deadline is tomorrow. But realignment discussion still happening. A little bit later on this month, we'll have some international basketball. I should say next month. We're still in July. But August means there's a lot of things that start to pick up and happen again after some quiet time that happened in July. But it's not been very much of a quiet off season. There's been a lot that's still been taking place, and certainly things really picked up last week with the news that Colorado would be leaving the Pac-12 and going to the Big 12, and the Big 12 has made it clear they'd like to get one more team, and then the Pac-12 has also announced they will be in an expansion mode, but it leaves us wondering still through the weekend, like, what does that mean for the Mountain West and the landscape of college athletics? And sounds like there are reports today that Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff will be conducting a meeting tomorrow, calling a meeting among the remaining Pac-12 schools to discuss a future media rights deal. And so will that be enough to keep schools remaining in the Pac-12, or will others follow Colorado and USC and UCLA and leave?
Yeah, that honestly, the Pac-12 media deal could either be the walls that keep everybody in or the last domino that sends everybody out. And there's a lot, as you're saying, there's a lot going on with conference realignment. It's an ever-present topic that's going to be dominating the college football landscape even as we move into fall camp. We're usually about this time, we're starting to talk about fall camp. Heck, Utah State's fall camp begins Friday. We got Utah State Media Days on Thursday. So we're going to be starting our Utah State discussion, but even by then, I'll probably be asking the guys about realignment, hey, what do you think? Because it'll still be a topic of conversation. And, it could very well impact Utah State. As you mentioned, Pac-12 looking to expand. And they're going to look to the Mountain West. Probably going to pick off San Diego State at some point. Maybe UNLV, Colorado State. We'll see.
And a big question along with this is timing too, right? I mean, Colorado, they're able to make their move because Pac-12 is in the midst of renegotiating their grant of rights. So there's no real exit fee or timeline for them that's a penalty for them to move for the 2024 football season. But the Mountain West has made it clear that it's expensive to leave for the 2024 football season. It's going to be $34 million for you to leave by next year. If you're in the American Athletic Conference, you have to give 27 months notice if you're going to leave there. So what are the options? I mean, they're very few in number. That's why UConn is probably moving up the ladder as a viable candidate. That football program having a little bit of a resurgence. Certainly well positioned for basketball. But most likely is that schools from the Pac-12 continue to get picked off because it's hard for other schools to make those moves. Or do you just will we have another year, or will there be an odd year for the Pac-12, which will be 9, maybe 8 schools that exist in that form for a season before they start adding other schools to give themselves a little bit more time to get to the number they want.
Yeah, if the Pac-12 survives at least somewhat comfortably, they probably are going to have a season where they have 8 teams, then they jump back up to 10 or 12. Because you're probably going to end up with maybe one more team leaving the Pac-12. But yeah, unless they want to pony up a ton of money to get teams by 2024. Like, look at the Mountain West. They wanted to poach, multiple Mountain West schools. That's $34 million a pop. And those schools are going to be asking for help to pay that extra money.
Absolutely.
Can you, if you take 2 schools from the Mountain West, maybe help them with half that money since, the doubling is, the extra fee for leaving early. Can the Pac-12 afford to just drop $34 million and they're already a bit in debt? They're already going to have a lower media deal. They're struggling financially anyway. They don't necessarily have cash to just throw at things. Maybe the way some of these other conferences might, where they're doing a little bit better financially.
I mean, they'll recover those funds in a short amount of time with full membership.
Yeah, the thing is that everyone can kind of recover it, but do they just have that cash to be throwing out in the moment? Do they have that kind of capital? So they probably end up just,
The answer to that question is no.
Yeah.
By the way.
So that's why they probably just go with the 8 for the 1 year, maybe gradually get back up to 10 or 12 just with the timing of everything. That's where the Pac-12 kind of, you might say, comfortably survives. But if they go below 8, so right now they'd be sitting at 9. They're losing 2, plus Colorado, so they're losing 3. They're down to 9 after 2024. If they lose in Arizona, where there's now rumors that they're maybe going to accept an invite from the Big 12, that gets them down to 8. Or maybe if it's in Oregon or Washington, if it's only one more, they can probably survive. But if they lose Arizona and Oregon and Washington, and heck, maybe Utah as well, and you go down to, what are we at now, 5, 6 teams? I don't know what they do at that point.
It's not viable, no.
It's just, you do wonder, does the Pac-12 at that point, do they just become Mountain West Plus, where they just try and bring in as many of the Mountain West teams as possible? San Diego State, Colorado State, UNLV, probably at that point, maybe they're desperate enough for Boise State, Fresno State. There's SMU, Tulane. Do they just add all those teams and just become, okay, we're slightly better than the Mountain West, that's what we got? Or at that point, is there a Mountain West Pac-12 merger type deal? It'd be interesting to see, because the Pac-12 has the prestige that teams will ditch the Mountain West and everyone else for the Pac-12. And it'll probably be at least slightly better financially.
Right. Yeah, they have history. They have more history.
Yeah.
They have media markets still, which are on par or above those in the Mountain West. But still, it's. I would not. I do not envy those in the Pac-12. Those member institutions right now.
Yeah.
This meeting tomorrow, it better come out with fireworks and gold bars and Ferraris. I mean, it better be legit, or it's the end of the Pac-12.
Yeah, and the end of the Pac-12 is what the Mountain West is rooting for. Like I said, if the Pac-12 at least sort of survives, it's eating the Mountain West, for lunch.
Yes.
And then it's the Mountain West that ends up potentially, if it loses 3 teams, it'll survive. It won't be as good as it was, but it'll still survive. Kind of like the same way the AAC is surviving. They're not what they once were, but they'll be all right. The Mountain West wouldn't be what it once was, but it'd kind of be all right. If they lose 5 teams, all the talk about, Pac-12 dying, that would then just be about the Mountain West.
Yeah, say goodnight, Irene.
Basically.
5338 texting in on the Full Court Press text line. With the Pac-12 rapidly shrinking and due to the high academic standing of their member institutions, going forward, the Pac-12 will be known as the Pac. What is that? Pac Pie? It's a pie symbol? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's line. What it is, the Pac
clever.
Pie.
That's clever. I like
the Pac 3.1. It's just Cal, Stanford, and something.
Yeah, that's good. That's clever. 9938 texting in. Do you think with all the conference realignments, one conference has to eventually dismantle and die? And why is it the Pac-12?
And you feel like somebody has to, because in the last round where everyone was bouncing around, kind of late 2000s, early 2010s, it was the WAC that I guess the Big East too died as well.
Yeah.
So you had a couple conferences go kaput. I don't know if any conferences will completely die aside from maybe the Pac-12. And again, if you're a Utah State fan, you're rooting hard for the Pac-12 to just disappear.
Well, what's interesting is there's all this talk about the Pac-12. Big 12, obviously, they've been aggressive. The Big East last year, not Big East, Big 10, in surprising everybody with the USC and UCLA moves. But what's quietly not being talked about right now is there is still some discontent that exists in the ACC, but everybody's looking west. Nobody's really looking east as of right now, but that's not to say that there could still be some movement that could happen there with some schools shaking loose out of the ACC, but where do they go? Does the Big Ten really take up that many more schools? Because what's been going on in the Pac-12, there's been a lot of talk, people assuming that Washington and Oregon would probably be the next on their target, but they're already going to be at 16 schools next year with USC and UCLA. And do they take Washington and Oregon, or do they look at some schools in the ACC? Or do they just say, look, 16 is a healthy enough number for us to be at. We're happy with where we're at. Otherwise, we keep slicing this pie thinner and thinner. Does it really add to our bottom line, adding these other schools, or are we healthy enough at 16?
Yes, there's a rumor over the weekend. There's one guy that was just reporting that the Big Ten, you talk about Oregon and Washington, or someone from the ACC. He was like, why not both? He said Oregon and Washington and Florida State and Clemson all going to the Big Ten for 20 teams. That's 2 whole conferences.
Insane.
That's not 16 teams like a slightly overweight medieval baron. Okay, he's a little overweight, but that's just him being rich. 20 is morbidly obese Henry VIII. That's a little too rich, a little too overweight there. So, that's one of the questions with who's next as far as realignment is we're beginning to run out of space.
Well, and that was a question last week on the show. Somebody asked, what's an optimal number? And apparently we don't really know, because it used to be 12, then it was 14. Now the SEC and the Big Ten are going to go to 16, but is that enough?
Yeah, I feel like that has to be where it is now. Because for one, if you get any bigger, then teams just can't play each other anymore. You're just loosely related. It's like MLB where they don't even play each other all the time. You only play the teams in your division half the year. Not to knock on the Major League Baseball too much, but with the 16 teams, the SEC at 16, Big Ten at 16, the Big 12. The commissioner earlier in July said, we want to get to 14, which leaves them with one more spot.
Yeah, with Colorado now joining them, that would be 13 with one more to go.
That's where Arizona or maybe Utah or one of Oregon and Washington maybe fits in there. So if that's it, if the conferences are happy to go to 16, there's only one more spot. And it's probably poached from the Pac-12. So then that would, mean that as of right now, we're pretty much set. And, with the Pac-12, they'd probably just they'd bring in San Diego State, SMU, and somebody else. Maybe a couple other teams. I don't know, Memphis or... Does the Pac-12 try and poach the ACC? I don't know if they can pull that off.
Yeah, that just seems so far afield.
Yeah. Or maybe
But you know what? It's college football,
Yeah.
College athletics, which is driven by college football, and there's so much money involved at that level that they're chartering planes anyway, and they don't really care.
Yeah, maybe the Pac-12 and ACC try some kind of merger type thing. I don't know.
But at some point, and we kind of discussed this a little bit ago, it could get so big that teams grow dissatisfied with what's going on there. Watching what happened with the WAC many years ago, and then the top teams in that group break away and form their own league. So it could be something cyclical that's going to happen again in the future, where you can't kick out the bottom feeders. So let's leave and create our own super friends again, and just the best of the best, the top of the top. Because what we found out in college football, while there may be 130, 133, whatever the number is, really there's only about 20 teams that really matter. And of those 20, there's really only five or six that are perennially like good every year, dominant, always on the top.
Yeah, and half of them are in the SEC because it's Alabama, Georgia, Clemson. Oklahoma's kind of in there. Like, those are your top three is Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson. I might be Ohio State, that's the one I'm forgetting.
Yeah, Ohio State.
Those are kind of your four big ones. Throw in Oklahoma, and there's probably one or two I'm forgetting. But, you get those 5-6 teams, and that's them, and that's about 20. Throw in the
Notre Dame.
Yeah, the Notre Dames, the LSUs,
Michigan.
Go down the next couple of names in each big conference, Michigan, whatnot. So, yeah. Like, eventually, the next stage, we're doing more conference realignment. We're going to get to 16 teams for, like, the big, 3-4 conferences. And, yeah, the next stage will be super conferences. And I half bet that's what we're going to call it, is super conference.
Because we're going to have 16, right now, the 16 in the Big Ten, 16 in the SEC, 13, trying to get to 14 at the least in the Big 12. Who knows? They may jump to 16 as well.
Yeah, if they go to 16.
And the ACC is at 14.
Yeah. If the Big 12 goes to 16, that's the death of the Pac-12. Because that means they've probably added Oregon, Washington, and Arizona or Utah, depending.
I don't know the likelihood of the Big 12 poaching the ACC. They're probably better in its footprint, but I suppose it's possible.
Maybe if they could,
certainly makes more sense with the Big 12 poaching the ACC than the Pac-12 poaching.
Yeah, because it's just less geography problems. But then again, we're throwing geography out the window apparently.
Yes.
The Pac-12 and the ACC, the only interaction there would be if they tried to merge. Like, they're trying to desperately grasp onto what's left of their relevance, combine it, try and match. You'd probably be at the level of the Big 12. Although it would help they have Clemson, who is at least a powerhouse in football. You'd have something, whereas the Pac-12 and Big 12 don't really have a powerhouse of football. At least that I'm thinking off the top of my head. Like, who's your best in football? Is Oregon or Baylor?
Yeah, Oregon has been
I mean
pretty
TCU
consistent.
was just barely in the college football playoff, but they're not like a perennial appearance there.
Yeah, outside of Oklahoma.
I know in basketball, heck, Big 12's going to kick butt, but
yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, 10, 20 years down the line when Alabama, LSU, Texas, Oklahoma, and Clemson, and a handful of other teams just decide to form Super Conference A over here with like 8 teams, and they'll determine who the college football champion is every year. That'll be, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Utah State's just trying to survive the latest round, which, I don't know. There's one world in which Utah State could come out better, but it feels like a super unlikely one. And again, it has to result in basically the actual death of the Pac-12.
Right. It needs to be addition by subtraction. And so the Pac-12 would need to dissolve or somehow merge with the Mountain West. And in that scenario, that's a good deal for Utah State.
Yeah, it'd be a fantastic deal.
Yeah. A couple more texts coming through, 9315. The odds just keep getting better every day that the Pac-12 doesn't exist if they don't get media right done soon to stop teams from leaving without having to pay much in exit fees. And how do Mountain West teams come up with the buyout money now that it's so high?
Yeah, that's just a ton of money. Like San Diego State, that's probably a big reason why they came back is because we can't stomach $34 million with the new stadium we just built and all that. So it's just, and, Colorado State, and I think UNLV, that's like 3 of your top 4 in terms of revenue and expenses, but, $34 million's like at least half, if not more than half of their budgets.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're allowing them to stagger that over several years. I think it has to be paid all by the time they leave, or maybe sometime in the calendar year 2024. So yeah, Mountain West teams aren't leaving in 2024. They're all going to be here through the 2024-2025 season. After that, make no guarantees.
No. Because it's not that far away from the Mountain West renegotiating its own media right deal.
Yeah.
Another text from 9315, makes more sense that the Big 12 take more teams from the Pac-12 to make traveling for sports easier, having more teams out west.
Yeah, well, I don't know, for the Big 12 going east is maybe easier. Because, again, just once you go west, like the distances, especially as you're crossing the Four Corners states, like that's the big gap.
Right. It just compounds.
Yeah. Because once you get back...
The ACC is in the footprint of the Big 12.
Yeah, they're all kind of clustered together in that section, the Midwest of the United States. Once you get out west, once you get to California, they're all bunched up again, all on the West Coast. But, yeah, traveling out west, you just got this big, flyover country here in Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell me UCF, West Virginia, that they wouldn't love some more schools in their neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Rather than adding more to help BYU or in Colorado.
Yeah. But the reason why I think the Pac-12 is actually looking west is because that's where most of the teams they can poach are.
Yes.
The Pac-12 is actively dying in front of our eyes, so get all the best schools.
Easier pickings.
Yeah. So that's where the programs are. I don't know if they can poach the ACC. They're finding it really easy to get, I was going to say quality schools out of the Pac-12, but they grabbed Colorado. So we'll see if they
there's a funny comment about that today, by the way.
We'll see if they actually get, in Arizona, who's a quality school, maybe not as great in football, but pretty good in basketball. We'll see exactly how they do. But even then, Colorado is probably better than most of what they can pull off from the ACC.
Yeah. All right, quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. When we come back, number 20 in our list of top 25 Aggies for the upcoming 2023 football season. Don't get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that's like 2 years ahead of ourselves.
We're really trying to project. So that's coming up next on the other side of this timeout. Who is it going to be, and what are our thoughts on who he is and how he can impact the team this upcoming season? Next on the Full Court Press.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. We have some surprising but awesome news to announce. Purple, the rocket ship in the mattress industry, has purchased IntelliBed, the best mattress in the industry. We could not be more excited. The beds have yet to arrive, but we flew out with Purple, and seriously, this new IntelliBed Purple lineup, it is immaculate. We have the whole Purple lineup and the IntelliBed Purple lineup. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress, now partnered with IntelliBed Purple.
Advanced Fireplace and Stove wants to thank you for voting them 3 years running the gold medal winners in the Best of Northern Utah contest. With over 35 display models in their showroom, their goal is to make the process of making your home comfortable and cozy an easy experience. With premier brands like Heat and Glow, Quadrifire, and Vermont Castings, they have something for every style, every home, every budget. Building or renovating, they've got you covered. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance. We have been a locally owned and operated family business since 1970. Daryl's offers you the most experienced service team in northern Utah and southern Idaho. Our service, sales, parts, and warranty departments enable us to be your one-stop appliance shop. We promise to give you the best quality service to get you and your appliance up and running quickly. Our huge parts department has the right part when you need it. Remember, shop local for the best-selling appliances and service in the business. Daryl's west on Airport Road.
Spend less time at the post office. With Formax and Mint mailing systems from Les Olson IT, you can quickly, accurately, and easily process your outgoing mail and even save on postage. Fold your documents, stuff and seal your envelopes, print addresses, weigh and measure to apply proper postage, all with the click of a button. With multiple model options available, you're sure to find a Formax solution and Mint mailing device that perfectly fits your business needs.
Les Olson IT.
Girls, us guys are always trying to score some brownie points, but we need all the help we can get. So dropping some subtle hints is helpful, such as your favorite food is Italian, you love the color green, and you want the ring from Jarek's Fine Jewelry, the place with the bright green cars on 930 North Main Street. Okay, so it might not be so subtle, but that's okay. Remember, we need the help. Make it special, make it Jarek's. Now remember, just tell him it's the place with the bright green cars.
Northern Utah and Southern Idaho's home for sports. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hey, congratulations to Lee's Plumbing. They were gold medal winner in the plumber category in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Logan Extermination, they won gold in pest control. Silver winners in Christmas and outdoor lighting and lawn care. Lynn's Audio and Video, gold medal winners in cell phone repair and accessories. And silver medal winners in home entertainment and security. So a lot of other businesses like these won gold and silver medals in our Best of Northern Utah contest. Go see who those winners are at bestofnorthernutah.com. And better yet, pick up your own magazine that has them all displayed there. Great contact information and who they are, what they do, what they specialize in. And about 20 different locations for where you can go find your own magazine, like Johnny O's Spud Nuts in Logan, Smithfield Implement, Beehive Grill, El Salvador, Los Primos, a lot of different places. You can pick up your own copy and take it home. Coming up next here on the Full Court Press, every weekday here on the Full Court Press, we'd like to count down who we believe are the top 25 Aggies for the upcoming season. To help us do it, we've enlisted the help of Hall of Fame broadcaster Al Lewis to introduce the player, and then we'll give our thoughts on his impact on the team for this upcoming season.
The Cache Valley Media Group's countdown to the top 25 Aggie football players for 2023. And at spot number 20 is a portal transfer from the University of Colorado to Utah State, safety Simeon Harris. He is 5'11", 185 pounds, a sophomore from Vallejo, California. Again, number 20 on the list, safety transfer Simeon Harris.
Yeah, this is another one of those players coming into Utah State to help in the secondary who brings experience. While he's only a sophomore, he did have some impact at Colorado as a true freshman. Appeared in 11 games, had 4 starts at Colorado, 21 tackles, and 15 of those were solo. And this is a player who moved around a little bit. Played corner, played nickel, and looks like he's going to play safety at Utah State. That's good versatility for somebody in your defensive secondary.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the few incoming guys who already has some experience. Because he played a decent number of snaps at Colorado. I think it was like 400 or 500 snaps. Whereas most of the guys coming in are JUCO guys or, Division I guys who just didn't play. There's a transfer from Wisconsin. I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Al Ashford. So Simeon Harris has at least some experience. I know he's only a sophomore, but he played a lot as a freshman. And, yeah, versatile guy. We'll see him all over the secondary. And it seems like he's settled at safety. I thought maybe he'd play corner, but right now his position seems to be safety. So maybe he'll be starting alongside Ike Larson.
He's put on 10 pounds of weight compared to when he was announced as his freshman year to sophomore season.
Yeah, that probably has something to do with the position he's playing now.
Yes, he's bulked up a little bit. This was somebody at the high school level. There's a 3-star athlete out of California, originally offered by Utah State, among other Mountain West schools, but was more prolific as a wide receiver. He also returned kicks and punts and ran the ball. So he's a very versatile player, very athletic, and has speed. But Utah State, and kind of following what Colorado did and using him as a defensive player, but somebody with that kind of athleticism and skills understands where the ball is headed, where it's intended to go, and that's a real benefit as a defensive player.
Yeah, adding length and athleticism has certainly been, a big key for this offseason, and it's something that can really help. Where they may not have tons of experience, but if they have that athleticism, it's going to help. It's going to help a lot. We'll see how it works out, but it's really nice seeing these taller, more athletic players in the secondary as opposed to, shorter players, which we're used to seeing at Utah State, 5'8", 5'9" corners, 5'10", 5'11" safeties. So we're doing a little bit better as far as athleticism, but that's not everything. And we'll see if Simeon Harris, is able to pull it off this season. I'm fairly confident he'll be one of the better defenders this year.
Yeah, he had a couple of games last year at 6 tackles in a game, 8 tackles in a game, where he was an impact player and trying to make some key plays for them to help his team out. So that one of the things that really stands out to me, just that frame, 5'11", just under 6 feet tall, good size on him, good muscle mass, and be able to help out of that secondary, add more height and length, which has been kind of an ongoing topic when we talk about Utah State secondary this season.
Yeah, and the fact that he played as a freshman, I know he played for a pretty bad Colorado team, but if you're playing as a freshman, that's a good sign. If you're playing as a freshman at a Power 5 school, that's a good sign. So,
right, he's still beating out veteran players to get on the field.
Yeah, so that's why I think I'm really confident, making the move from Colorado to Utah State. He could be one of those guys that comes in and is a star player. And he's got time. He's got 3 more years to play. So I think we'll be seeing Simeon Harris's name for a while.
Number 15 on his jersey. He's number 20 on our list. It's Simeon Harris in our top 25 Aggies for 2023. Another quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. Continue to take your texts, your phone calls, your reactions to what's going on lately in conference realignment. Jason put together a pretty big piece about how that could affect Utah State on CashValleyDaily.com. We'll continue to dive into that. And then the Major League Baseball trade deadline is upon us. What are the current standings throughout Major League Baseball? We'll look at that as well. Coming up on the Full Court Press.
This is Cache County Fire Chief Rod Hammer. Due to current and forecasted weather conditions coupled with extremely dry vegetation, the state forester, in consultation with fire officials, has determined that measures...
For more than a century, couples have shopped at S.C. Needham Jewelers. Known for a large selection of beautiful diamonds, we now have both natural and lab-grown diamonds. You're sure to find a diamond engagement ring that will fit your budget. The possibilities today are endless as you select the perfect ring. Show her you'll cherish her forever with a diamond either natural or lab-grown from the store where Utah gets engaged. S.C. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
When a tiny drop causes a ripple and becomes a wave, it travels through all corners of the planet, sustains all forms of life, and provides streams of wonder, rivers of adventure, and oceans of discovery. One drop connects us all. Reserve your visit now to Loveland Living Planet Aquarium, a nonprofit organization.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Great place to go get your oil changed today, tomorrow, really any day of the week. They're open 7 days a week at 695 North Main in Logan. And they've got the synthetic and Max Life, Valvoline Synthetic, Valvoline Max Life, which are the great oils to be using this time of year when it's really hot. So make sure your vehicle is running optimally and they can take care of the oil change any day of the week at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. So Simeon Harris at number 20 on our list of top 25 Aggies. Your reactions to that, if you think that's the right place for him, 435-339-0321. Reminder, you can go back and read more about these players. Every day we post a little story about who they are and their ranking. And you can listen to our reactions to their rankings and where they ended up on the Full Court Press. Go back on our podcast feed and listen to those as well. But Simeon Harris coming in at number 20. And as we mentioned, Utah State football will begin fall practices on Friday, open up fall camp on Friday. We'll have opportunities to talk to the coach and some of the players on Thursday. So stay tuned. We'll have a lot of audio with coaches and players coming up later on this week, and it'll spill into next week as well.
Yeah, there'll be a little too much to play in just a couple of days. I've got a long list of players we're all going to want to talk to. I think Al Lewis can be talking to people. I'm going to be talking to people. So plenty to go over. We'll talk about all the storylines. There's a lot. And there's a lot of questions that we'll have. And some of those questions will be answered in the interviews. Some of those questions will have to wait until the spring scrimmages on the 12th and 19th, I believe.
The fall scrimmage?
Yeah, the fall scrimmage. What did I say?
Spring scrimmage.
Just spring, whatever. Spring scrimmage in August, baby.
It would be nice if we had some spring-like weather.
I know. We
so
got spring weather for like three actual months.
Yeah, maybe it's okay if we don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I could do with spring-like weather all year.
Yeah, that's true. Although monsoons apparently supposed to start rolling through.
Not in Utah.
Yeah, they're passing us, skipping us. So, again, just reiterating, the top story is that George Klayavkov, the commissioner of the the Pac-12 conference, is
the Pac-9?
Yeah, the Pac-9 is organizing a meeting tomorrow where allegedly he will finally reveal details about their upcoming pending media rights deal. And will it be enough to keep the existing schools in play, or will they be like Colorado and say, just enough is enough, we've had enough, let's move on? Because there's rumors out there that Arizona is close, and they had thought to leave, but they just didn't want to be the first one to go. And now that Colorado has left, it might open the dam for others to leave as well. But on that topic, head coach of Oregon Ducks, Dan Lanning, was asked about what's going on with Colorado and what that means to the Pac-12. And this, in a nutshell, was his response.
Not a big reaction. I mean, I'm trying to remember what they won to affect this conference. I don't remember. Do you remember them winning anything? I don't remember them winning anything.
That's it. Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
Tell us how you really feel, man.
That's it. Thanks, Coach.
It's like that's kind of harsh. It's true though. Like, did Colorado win in any sport? We know they didn't do anything in football or basketball.
Do you remember them winning anything? I don't remember them winning anything.
I don't.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't follow the Pac-12, so I can't tell you like every single sport and every single thing. I feel like there has to be something they're good at.
I think their basketball. They've made it to the NCAA tournament a few times. I can't tell you how often. Football, I think they've had 2 winning seasons the whole time they were in the Pac-12. They never won a bowl game when they were in the Pac-12.
So Colorado actually started out pretty good in basketball going to the Pac-12. They made it to the tournament like 4 out of 5 years, starting right as they jumped in, but then they've only made it like once in the last 7. But they've been 20-win-ish season in basketball. I guess they've not been bad in basketball. They've been pretty bad in football. I don't know, what have they won, like 4 or 5 games the last few seasons?
Yeah, it has not been good.
Yeah, it's been pretty mediocre.
It has not been good at all.
So that's just.
But okay, I get it. The sentiment from Oregon, like, thanks Colorado, we hardly knew you. You were a layup win for us whenever we'd play you. So whatever. What value did you bring? But how many more times can you say that to other institutions in the Pac-12 if they leave?
I think the only other ones are the teams that probably aren't going to leave, like Washington State, Oregon State, maybe Arizona State. But none of those teams are going to leave. Those are the ones, of course, but those teams, they have more history. They've been good at some point.
Right. They've had moments.
So, there's really nobody else in the conference. If Utah left, everyone would be like, all right, well, we've not known you very long. But Utah's done pretty well the last few years.
Yeah, you've been the flag bearer for this conference the last few years.
Yeah, they've ramped it up. They struggled to start off with. I think they lost to Colorado their first year in the Pac-12. But I think Colorado State was actually kind of okay back then. But then Utah ramped it up. And they're at the level of a Pac-12 school now. They're not a Mountain West team playing at being a Pac-12 school. They are a Pac-12 school with all that comes with that.
Yeah.
Even above average for a Pac-12 school, seeing as where they've been the last few years as a football program. We won't talk about their basketball program. We'll leave it at football. They're doing all right there.
So there's multiple levels of sadistic enjoyment in what's going on lately. Watching the Pac-12 kind of struggle from their ivory towers because they had such a standard for the type of schools that can be part of our conference. And they tried to set themselves apart as something special, something different. And then when the world started crumbling around them, they pigeonholed themselves in such a way that it became impossible for them to find replacement schools. And so they've been looking down their noses at everybody for so long. There's some sadistic satisfaction in watching them struggle. But the other aspect that's kind of cruel but still satisfying is hearing all this expansion talk and where are they going to go next, and never hearing the word Boise State at all.
Except from out of Idaho.
Except for those in Boise proper.
They're screeching it at the top of their lungs. What about Boise State?
Yes. Like, please someone take us. We're here. Can't you see us? And everybody's looking everywhere else like, did you hear something? I don't think I heard that. No. Got to look over here somewhere else.
It's funny because you'd think, with the Pac-12, like, of course they're not going to accept Boise State because of, academic and that kind of stuff. But the Big 12, even they're passing over them. Like, they don't want them either.
Oh, the feeling, such disappointment when the Big 12 was clearly in a mode of, we got to fill these spots, and we're not just going to fill 2 spots, we're going to go with 4 after Oklahoma and Texas leave. And to see BYU, UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, those schools come into the Big 12, but Boise gets looked over again. Like, they've made multiple pitches to the Big 12 to try to get accepted there, and multiple times have been looked over. And I don't begrudge, and I think Gloria Navarro's made this comment as well, we shouldn't begrudge anybody from being upward looking and have an opportunity to advance and move up. Because if you have an opportunity to get that kind of a media payout and play those kind of games and those kind of institutions and those kind of venues, sure, if Utah State were in those discussions, we would absolutely be waving that banner as well. But this Boise State wants out so bad. And they've tried to put themselves on such a pedestal above everybody else within the Mountain West itself, and now these other schools are being talked about. That pedestal's been knocked down by a lot of rungs.
Yeah, see, it really is just the arrogance. You mentioned, the looking down their nose the rest of the conference. Like, San Diego State, they're kind of doing that now, or they're kind of like, with these rumors. But before then, they weren't like this, oh, we're so much better.
Yeah, they didn't have a history of that.
We don't belong here in the Mountain West. We're so much better. Like,
even when they flirted and eventually and actually left and accepted a bid to go to the Big East, which eventually crumbled, it wasn't like, and when that fell apart, it wasn't like San Diego State had an era of, well, I guess we'll come back, but we know we're better and we're on the way out. We have one foot out the door. They came back like, okay, this is where we are. This is what we're doing. Let's move forward. But Boise State, since that moment when they joined the Big East and it collapsed, they've always acted like they have one foot out the door. And look, to their credit, they were able to leverage that into a richer media deal than anybody else got in the Mountain West.
Yeah. Like, the Boise State's the ones that are acting arrogant. Like, San Diego State, again, with there's some of that arrogance that's leaking out, like the stuff that naturally comes when you're on the precipice of going to a bigger conference. But I don't begrudge San Diego State fans or the institution for having those feelings, partly because they've kind of earned it. And to be honest, it's kind of funny because you think Boise State would have earned it as well, but they just haven't. But they're the ones that are being super arrogant about it, and we're better than the Mountain West. We deserve better media deal. We're carrying the conference. Like, excuse me, I think San Diego State's carried this conference more than Boise State has the last few years. So I don't know what Boise State's going on about. So Boise State kind of dipped the last couple of years, though they are on their way back up, certainly. So, yeah, there is it really just does have to deal with, the arrogance. It's not just disliking a team because they're good. It's the arrogance of the fans that comes out.
Right. Boise State is the BYU of the Mountain West.
Basically.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly good description.
Yes. 9315, I have been so pleased that the noisy state donkeys are being left behind. I love it. Sorry, Idaho whiners. 9310 texting in. Overthrowing the bourgeoisie is fun for a while for us peasants in Logan, but I don't think it'll be great for USU after the dust settles.
Yeah, that's the thing is that in 99% of scenarios with conference realignment, Utah State ends up in a worse spot. Like where they are now, as things stands, it's never been better. As far as conference, that they're in, obviously money, I don't think it's ever been higher. The situation they're in is the best they've ever been in.
Access, competition level, media rights.
Yeah. And it's in just about every scenario, barring the perfect scenario, they're going to end up going down. The perfect scenario being basically a, Pac-12 Mountain West merger. That's the, 1 in 14 million, shot the Utah State has of coming out better than they are now. So it's unfortunate that Utah State's going to go, their whole story of conference realignment, the entire program's history is just one setback after another. This is just going to be another one.
Yeah, yes.
That's the frustrating part.
9315, next media rights deal in the Mountain West is going to be great because Boise won't get any better treatment. Its problem is it's not a function of the media partners. It's a function of what's written in the contract with the Mountain West itself. There was a deal that Craig Thompson put together that didn't have an expiring timetable. And when he talked about trying to even the playing field for all conference institutions, Boise State quickly reminded him that there was no timetable to sunset that provision, which gives Boise State extra payout when they appear on a national platform for exposure for their football.
I don't speak legalese, but maybe just renegotiate and just tell them, all right, we're going to renegotiate. Again, I don't know if you can force them into that. That'd be the one problem.
Yeah.
If you can't force them into it, there's nothing you can do.
Right. You're going to do some lawsuits, and it would not be pretty, and I don't know that the Mountain West would win.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right, another quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. Love to continue to get your thoughts, your feedback, 435-339-0321. And a quick look at the current standings in Major League Baseball with the trade deadline coming up tomorrow. Interesting teams are sellers, others are buyers, with teams kind of on the fence with the where they are in the standings. We'll look at that real quick on the Full Court Press.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006. Forget the weather this summer with York Home Comfort Systems. Now's your chance to get local rebates, financing options, and industry-leading manufacturer-backed warranties on your new home comfort system. Plus, you can get up to $2,000 in tax credits with IRA 25C federal tax credit. Installing a York Home Comfort System's even more affordable. Maximize your savings and forget the weather this summer. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning Showroom is west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Don't get caught without power to your home or business. This is Tyler with Golden Spike Electric. We offer Generac backup generators to keep your home or business warm, avoiding frozen pipes, loss of valuable food, or even a flooded basement. Golden Spike Electric is certified and factory trained, so you know it will be installed right and properly maintained. Contact Golden Spike Electric so you'll never be without power again. Online at gsegenerators.com. We also service other brands, Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
At Cache Valley Bank, we are celebrating our pioneers and their contributions to shaping our great state. Join us as we celebrate the Days of 47 with our promotion. From now until July 31st, you can receive a 4.7 annual percentage yield on an 18-month certificate of deposit, or a 4% annual percentage yield on an 1847-day certificate of deposit. Come visit us or give us a call to learn more and be part of the celebration. Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Member FDIC. No minimum balance required. Early withdrawal penalty may apply.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are conveniently located at 2 locations, North Logan inside the new Three Peaks Medical Plaza and Providence on Gateway Drive. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette, along with the entire staff, have over 75 years of combined medical experience, guaranteeing your family the very best patient care. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho and accepts most insurance products, including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, North Logan and Providence.
Stokes Equipment, your Cache Valley John Deere dealer, has the equipment you need to get the job done. Handle heavier duty chores around the farm, property, or job site with John Deere compact utility tractors and compact construction equipment. They have an option for all your jobs with premium features and the right size tractor for your operation. Find out which tractor is right for you. Stokes Equipment is located on 415 West 8th North in Preston, Idaho. Visit the store or check them out online at stokesequipment.com.
Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Napa Auto Parts, great place for all those do-it-yourselfers who like working on your own engines. And they've got the Napa know-how at 5 different locations from Preston to Providence, locally owned, and voted best of Northern Utah in the auto parts category. Gold winners. That's Napa Auto Parts. Major League Baseball trade deadline is tomorrow. And there's been some moves over the weekend. And it looked like it was going to be kind of a quiet trade season for Major League Baseball, but it hasn't been the case. There's been some movement. And a couple of teams that were notable for people to keep an eye on were those that were in the wild card hunt. A few games out of it, but maybe making a push to stay alive and stay relevant. Notably, the Angels in the American League and the Cubs in the National League. Cubs got on a hot streak. They won 8 in a row, then they just lost a game. But the Angels have also been flirting with trying to make it to the playoffs, with both teams having some of the more higher-profile players that could be available in the trade market, but opted to hold on to their players rather than trade them away.
I'm just going to let you keep going. I got nothing to say on baseball. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, this is kind of an exciting time because this is the signal for teams that, for your team that you're following, are they going to make a push? Are they going to try to make it and be relevant for the last part of the season, which, we're coming into August. You've got basically another month and a half of baseball to be played, and it's still some really tight races in several of these leagues in these different divisions. The Braves have theirs all locked up. I mean, they're basically 11 and a half games ahead of the next closest team, but every other division, it's close, within a game or two, and so it's still anybody's game with several weeks to be played. And actually, we saw this report. In fact, I don't have the exact number, but attendance for Major League Baseball games has been on the rise. In fact, I believe they set a new record here just recently. And so the changes that have been taking place in Major League Baseball, some of these rules, fans are really enjoying it. It's been a lot more fun. Games are shorter. There's more scoring. There's stolen bases. It's exciting. It's a lot of fun. I wish more people would tune in and pay attention to what's going on with Major League Baseball right now.
Do you think it's coincidental those changes have led to attendance, or do you think that's actually the cause?
I think it's the cause.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but it could be the cause.
I mean, scoring is up. There's more activity in the field of what's happening. Shifts are illegal now, so it provides for hitting into the gap and opposite sides and just try to manufacture runs. It makes baseball fun again. And that's been exciting to see how that's been playing out, and it's paying off. And so I think it'll be a fun stretch run here to the end of the regular season for the next month and a half. But we'll see. That's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow here in the Full Court Press at 4 o'clock.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. After the running back market hit an all-time low and some not-so-encouraging words from Colts owner Jim Irsay, it was reported over the weekend Jonathan Taylor will ask for a trade from the organization. Irsay was quick to shoot down any possible trade talk, but the damage may already be done. Taylor's one of the NFL's best running backs, a former second-round pick, averaging just under 5 yards per carry and scoring a whopping 32 total touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. But Taylor's seen how players of his caliber have been treated, and coming into a contract year, that could be unsettling for such a great player. It's still unclear if the relationship is fixable, but with Taylor and Irsay currently on completely different pages, and the Colts potentially contemplating placing him on the non-football injury list, the team's relationship with their star running back will certainly be something we keep an eye on as we continue throughout training camp. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above